guys. Welcome back to another episode of Soulful Feast, bite-sized information to nourish your body, mind, and spirit. I'm Stephanie Zubiri, and guess what, guys? Today is a very special episode for me and for the people here. Today is all about raising a neurodivergent child. Yes, it's special because I will be making a very personal announcement, one that I have not announced in any of my public platforms before. My youngest son, Max, who is now 7 years old, is on the autism spectrum. And for a very long time, I kept it private because he himself was not aware of what he had, but today feels very empowered and really owns and embodies it. So I want to take the time today to celebrate neurodivergency and, of course, the challenges that come with raising a neurodivergent child and also the beautiful things that come with it. So today I have a very special guest. We have Karen Davila, journalist, TV personality, you name it. She needs no introduction. Hi, Karen.
Wait, first of all, Steph, thank you for having me here. I want to congratulate you as a mother. It is so liberating to come out and share your story, your child's story.
It is a big deal. It took a long time because I felt that it was unfair to him if he didn't know his own journey yet. So I wanted him first to know what it really means and know what he's capable of doing. And now he's so proud of it, you know? And so, I mean, we'll talk about how difficult all of this is, but also how wonderful it is. And today is extra special because Karen is very outspoken about this, but today we have someone here. We have David, her son.
Yes,
Hi,
I'm here.
Yay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It was very important for you to be on this episode because we want to hear it from you.
Yep.
Yes. All right. So let's start, Karen, because, okay, when I found out about Max, this was during the pandemic, actually. He got refused into the school that his brother was, and then that's when I started looking into it. And I had just separated from my husband. I was alone and isolated, and then I find out this news, and he rated 7 out of 10, and I was crushed. I was afraid for him, what life was gonna be like for him, and I cried. I cried for 24 hours straight. And then I decided I would never cry again about this, right? And I know that as a mother, that was your mindset as well.
You know what? So David is now 21 years old. He was diagnosed in the autism spectrum. It's called PDD-NOS. It's pervasive developmental disorder, not otherwise specified, when he was roughly 3 years old. And I didn't know David had autism. It was actually my friend, Small Laude, who told me, Karen, I think you need to have David checked. I said, why? Because, Karen, every time we're out, David is screaming, he's crying, he's not talking. And I remember I said, nako, spoiled lang yan kasi nag-iisang apo. And he doesn't really speak because his father is quiet. And Small told me, no. Karen, when kids aren't speaking or communicating, nagwawala sila. They're not able to express themselves. Yes. Being a first-time mother, I didn't know what it was like to mother. I had no basis of comparison. So I was a full-time working mother. So I went to a doctor, Dr. Francis de Malanta. By that time, at 2 to 3 years old, they couldn't tell. I went to Dr. Alexis Reyes and she diagnosed David. And it's the same. I cried for weeks, me and my husband, because we didn't know what to do. And worse than that, I blamed myself. Yeah. I must have done something wrong. Maybe I didn't breastfeed long enough. I should have eaten better food, etc., etc. Why didn't I detect it sooner? I did this, I did that. I went to a period of, Lord, what did I do wrong? So at some point, being a journalist, I said to myself, wait, I am gonna take action. So you have to remember that doctors tend to be conservative. And when I say, what can I do for my son? Therapy lang. There's no treatment. Ganon. And I didn't want to go that route. You have to remember, this is 2004 or 5.
And there's not that much information then.
Exactly.
You know, I'm very lucky because now there's so much more information. A lot of people feel empowered to talk about it. There's a lot less shame.
Yes.
Diba? Parang before, you know, wala lang yan. Or it's so debilitating. They think that there's nothing you can do about it, right? So I can imagine how difficult it was.
Absolutely. So I gave birth to David 2002. When I was told that, do you want to join a support group? Oh my gosh, right? Do you want to join a support group? You can just, it's therapies. I felt, ito na yon? There's nothing more. So I went completely revolutionary. I went to the other side of the spectrum, as they would say. So Small had a school then. It was a school that was quite inclusive, but her principal, teacher Rachel, had 2 children with autism. Yeah. In a way, she treated them, right? Yeah. I wouldn't say she cured them. She treated them. So what happened? I went to a biomedical doctor, and then David got into a very strict diet called the casein gluten-free diet. There are many diets now. Some now, they even have a high-fat diet. Yeah. There's a yeast-free diet.
But it makes a big difference,
Absolutely.
guys. I mean, I'm going to sidebar here and tell you that with Max, it's almost like he's on drugs. Like he's high. When he eats the wrong kind of food, I can tell his eyes get glazed over.
You said it.
He's like loopy, cannot concentrate, tantrums. It's like what happened night and day. And it just goes to show you the power of nutrition and food and the toxins that we put in our body, right?
So this one, because I'm sure the parents listening to you either have a child with autism or they don't know how to move forward. So David, when he was very young, I hope, David, you don't mind me sharing. So he would be screaming, crawl. He would be running up and down. He would be hitting his yaya. He would be sticking himself on the wall in public places. He would be rolling on the floor. I mean, it was very tragic, painful. He was uncontrollable.
And you feel helpless, right?
I felt helpless. He had no eye contact. He would be able to read words, but didn't know the meaning. He wouldn't say, Mom. He wouldn't say, I need this, I want this. It was just painful. So let me go first to the science of food. Mothers would often ask, no, I don't think it's important. It is. So the gluten-free, casein-free diet was founded as the foundation of biomedical treatment. What does it do? Gluten is a protein found in wheat, oats, barley, and rye. And what happens is, it's been discovered that kids in the spectrum, they lack an enzyme in the body to digest gluten.
And process it.
Yes. So what happens to them, you ask, as a parent? It goes around their body like opium. So they're high.
They're high. They
They're
really
high.
look high.
Yeah.
Like my son really looks like,
Exactly.
I'm like, what did you eat? You know?
Yes.
And when I mean like high, like glazed over.
And dazed.
Yeah, dazed.
Yes.
Dazed.
So if you want your child to be able to absorb, to learn, you first have to, the diet is non-negotiable. I always tell parents that. Because you have 2 brains in the body, this brain, and then the gut is a brain. So that's the first. So when David got on the GFCF diet, para siyang nag-withdrawal sa drugs. Nag-zombie ng mga 2 weeks. But then from then on, he started to change slowly. So biomedical treatment then is a whole other treatment where you are treating them for what they lack in the body. Yeah. So before, all the doctors were from Hong Kong, they would be abroad, but there's now a local doctor. So things have changed. But mothering a child in the autism spectrum, for me, I approached it in a very tough love kind of way. May mga nanay na aawa, bigyan mo na ng cake.
No.
Bigyan mo na ng spaghetti.
Oh my God, it's the worst.
Exactly.
It's the worst.
So it's a different kind of love.
And you know what? I will tell you this. Max knows it doesn't make him feel good. So he himself auto-censors.
Yes.
He, at 7,
yes,
7
same
years
with
old,
David.
He'll go to a party and he'll be like, I'll ask my mama first. I don't think I can
Fantastic.
eat that. Yeah.
Yes.
Because he already knows how to recognize when he feels good
Yeah.
and when he doesn't.
I'm so
Right?
happy.
And it's one of the things I realized is that nowadays you can change the way you look at it. It's not a disability anymore. It's a superpower. I always tell Max, you have superpowers.
Yeah.
It's not, and I'm so lucky he's in a school that really celebrates neurodivergency because it comes in all shapes
Absolutely.
and forms.
Yeah.
And I think, the generation of my parents were like, ay, that's parang disability or, it's not a disability. The mind, so let's just break it down a little bit for you guys. So neurodivergency versus neurotypical is what we would call normal. Neurodivergency is just saying that the mind works differently. And it's beautiful that we're all different.
Yes.
And that, Max can see things and process things in a way that I can't even,
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that. Wow, right? And just empowering them.
No, but we have to remember also as parents, I mean, our children are in the spectrum wherein they are speaking, they're verbal, they
Yes.
understand. But let's not forget the reason it is autism. I asked the same question. Why is it that David, when he was working, carries a PWID? The reason it's called a disability because we often associate a disability with something physical. But the spectrum is quite big. And there are kids in the autism spectrum that are completely nonverbal.
Yes.
They completely do not understand. In other words, the neuro delay is so extreme that it's very difficult to have a step up.
Yes.
So I don't want to say we're fortunate, but it's just the children we have. Let's
Yes.
put it to that.
Can express themselves.
Exactly. And what happens is if you move them up the ladder, they become so much better at tapping that part of the brain that expresses themselves. But in the spectrum, let's not forget that there are kids that are
definitely.
really, they have global developmental
Delay.
which
Physical, motor skills.
absolutely,
Yes.
yes. So moving on to the word disability, or some would say a different ability. There's
Yes.
a lobby also that they wanted
Different
to be,
ability.
that they want that too. Is I like what you did with Max, that at 7 he now understands. With David, because his particular, I think I've seen Max when he was
Yeah.
much younger, and I would have to say he was more advanced than David was.
Yeah.
And I'm being quite objective about it. With David, he couldn't understand, but we would tell him, you are allergic to that. So with that alone, he wouldn't touch it. But you have to train them when they're young. So maybe, David, you can share.
Okay.
What don't you eat? What do you eat?
And what does it make you feel?
Oh,
Yeah.
The food that I eat is gluten-free, which is gluten-free cake, gluten-free brownies, gluten-free bread, even more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and why don't you eat gluten? What happened?
How does it make you feel?
It makes me feel dizzy when I had the seizure.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like David, for example, I hope you don't mind, David. In the spectrum, you have kids that are in Asperger's. They can express themselves so well.
Yes. So that's also something I wanted to talk about early detection, early intervention. And, with Max, I am so proud of him because he has made leaps and bounds because we detected it at 4. And same thing, I had no idea. Wala, terrible 3,
Yeah.
terrible, whatever, just being a brat, right?
Exactly.
I'm going to be, full disclosure, I'm going to say, when we took the test, I said, I'm going to find out whether he is on the spectrum or he's just an asshole.
Oh,
is he
yeah,
just
yeah,
a
yeah.
brat or
Yes,
what, right? So, but the doctor convinced me that the sooner we intervene, the better, because before 7 years old, the brain is still forming.
Yeah.
And you can rewire the brain because the neural pathways are still forming. Past 7 years old, you're just teaching coping skills. So, I'm so blessed that I just had that, I just said, sige, go, and that's what I want to encourage a lot of moms out there also, that
Yeah.
parang don't be ashamed. Go na, get tested, get the help that you need as soon as possible, right?
So I love that you talked about that. If I could give tips to mothers coming from my own experience, it's number one, don't be in denial. You can give yourself 1 week maximum. Then get over it. Kasi ang nangyayari is that in denial is the biggest injustice you can give to your child.
Yes.
And many women, many mothers are in denial.
And sadly also,
Magugulat ka.
yung asawa din
Oo.
Parang there's a pride thing
Yes,
na, you know,
oo.
like my kid is
Yan,
normal,
oo.
whatever.
So yan ang number one. Number two, I like it that Steph brought the issue of shame. Because what happens is, we end up thinking, nako, genetic ba yan? May kakulangan sa'yo as a mother or as a father. But here's something that really helped me. For your child, when they can't speak or express themselves well, and this is what helped for David, and I believe this is gonna help for Max too, you need to develop a community of your best friends who will accept your child. Because what happens is, you know, we often use the word tribe. The tribe is the perfect word for kids in the autism spectrum.
Yes.
Because you have to remember, it will be painful as a mother. I would see David, the others are playing, kaibigan ng anak ko, and out siya. Sakit nun.
And you know what?
Naiiyak ako doon.
It was my first time to see
Yes.
that like recently. Kasi usually Max is with his brother. So older kids
Yes.
adjust. Or with younger kids, they also adjust. Or with adults. But when he went to this new school, bigger school, over 100 kids his age, dun lang siya sa kanto.
Yeah.
In the first day.
Same with
Parang
David.
that first day,
Yes.
like I have tears thinking about it because I said, oh my God,
Oh, wow.
this is really my first time.
Naiyak ako.
To see him
Yes,
like,
yeah.
you know, and I went up to him, are you okay? He's like, I'm not. I don't think I fit in. I don't
But
think
Steph, you see, praise God, Max can
I can
say, I'm not.
okay. I know.
Imagine other kids.
you know,
David could not.
Therapy taught him that. Therapy taught him to
good, David.
determine his emotions, what he was. Kasi before, iyak lang.
Oo.
Before, tantrum
Tama.
lang. Iyak lang. Or closed ears.
Yes.
Rocking.
Same with David.
Like that. So, I was so sad. And then, you know what? Because the school is so inclusive, all he needed was a little push to feel safe and 1 to 2 connections lang with people. He's okay na.
Yeah.
He's okay. He found his stride. And he will say, actually, the boys in my class, they're too rough. I like to play with the girls because they're gentle. That's great. You know, like, who cares about the stereotype? Because say you're a boy, you have to be with the boys and do the sports. No, he likes doing other things. He likes to read. So, you know, it's really finding the tribe. And it takes long.
Yeah. So, you know, when David was young, I wanted to share, no? So when he was diagnosed at 3 years old, roughly 2.5 to 3 years old, in choosing a preschool, and mothers who are listening, so we talked about first, don't be in denial. Give yourself 1 week. Over that, it's an injustice not to your child. Number 2, the feeling of shame. You can overcome that by having a tribe that's so loyal to you and your child. So you create that circle of love, a small community. But number 3, the pressure with schools. You know, when you're a new mother, iisipin mo, oh, alam mo, schools kasi it tends to be a stature
Yes.
in our society. Wag. Alam nyo, David went to a small school in Quezon City. It's called Integrated Center for the Young. And you know why he went there? When David, I see why, when David was 3.5 to 4 years old, he couldn't jump. He couldn't blow off a straw. He didn't know how to take care of himself in the bathroom. He just couldn't do many things. So that particular school, the teacher was a psychologist and an expert with special needs. So he was in a class of 5 to 7 kids.
Yeah.
So that's the key. And with David specifically, for example, you know, we want to fall into the trap of, my son is in a regular school. Walang ganon.
Wala.
Take that out of your
Yeah.
language.
The best
That's-
school is the one your child thrives in.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter.
And I
Yeah.
won't lie, being a mother of a child in the spectrum, a traditional school will never do. A progressive school is the best school. A smaller school where the teacher pays more attention to the child. And I'll be honest, you'll be so surprised how many teachers aren't even equipped. So I was so involved with David that I wanted teachers who were equipped. And other than that, it was in a small school. What should you prioritize on? Other than the food, you can have a whole episode on food. When people will think, nako, Steph, Karen, ang gluten casein-free pang mayaman. That's not true.
Hindi, kanin and gulay lang yan.
Yes!
It's just kanin and gulay.
Itlog. I mean,
we are traditionally gluten-free and casein-free. In Asia, we are traditionally gluten and casein-free.
Right? Because hindi nila alam na ang rice is gluten-free. You'll be surprised. So, but that's a whole episode altogether.
Yeah.
So you move on to creating, I'll be honest, as a mother, in improving the life of your child with autism, you have to be obsessed. That is the word. There is no shortcut. I tell parents who ask me, if you are not obsessed, your child may not get better.
So I have a question because, David, you also have a brother.
Yeah, I have a brother.
Right?
Lucas.
Yes. And is it hard? Does he ever feel like he always has to adjust? Because baliktad naman, Max has an older brother, Seb.
Yes.
And I sometimes feel bad that I'm always demanding of Seb to adjust, but how is it in your household?
I think, Seb, frankly speaking, you'll feel so proud that as he gets older, having a younger brother in the autism spectrum, you'll see Seb developing leader-like qualities with compassion and kindness. Yes. And genuine inclusivity will be in his heart because it's in his home. It won't have to be outside.
Won't have to be taught.
Yes, it's not taught. Now, David and Lucas have a 6-year gap. Hindi talaga ako nagbuntis kasi when David was diagnosed with autism, I was scared. I thought it was genetic. I mean, pasensya na po kayo, pero sabi ko, Lord, 1 child kaya ko, baka 2 hindi ko na kaya. Yeah. I mean, I'm just being realistic
here. There are
here.
Women out there, huh? Like in the center that Max was in.
Of course.
He had a classmate na 2 brothers.
Definitely. Yes. Sinabi ko, Lord, my gosh, Lord, di ko kaya. Mahirap. So, gap nila ni Lucas is 6 years. Lucas was an accidental pregnancy and I feel truly blessed. But I went to a different doctor. It was a more progressive, along with my gynae, it was the autism doctor also let me take additional supplements, don't take these foods, etc., just to be sure. But I guess your question is, how is Lucas adjusting? And then how is David?
And how was it like to have a little brother?
Well, most likely, my brother Lucas watches over me that my mom and dad are on abroad. And also, I give advice to my brother Lucas. It's dinner time already.
Yeah. What else?
Also,
what do you tell Lucas pa?
Oh, I also tell Lucas, you have to stop playing video games. Except for me, I'm disciplined. Also, I give advice to my brother Lucas to converse with Tita Steph's 2 sons.
Yeah. So, David, can I ask you some questions?
Sure.
Yeah. So, how does the autism present itself for you? Like when you see the world, what is different for you? What are the things that pop out?
Well, autism can tell us, I'll give signs of autism. Number 1, I was diagnosed with autism that I roll down on the floor. And also, number 2, the ways on I was diagnosed with autism is I couldn't speak well, I used the wrong words. And also, number 3, the sign of autism is I had the seizure, which means...
When you were 19.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And also, Lord Jesus has healed me from autism. And number 4, the way on autism is I can eat the right diet of the gluten-free.
Yeah. But
so
Tita Steph's asking, how do you see the world?
How do you see the world? What are the things that...
That's a tricky question.
Yeah.
That's a how.
Yeah.
How and why, but how?
I see the world that I shine always.
Okay.
That.
Uh-uh.
So what are noises? Are you sensitive to noise
Yes.
or to light?
I'm sensitive.
When you were young, why don't you tell her?
Oh,
When you were smaller, remember?
yeah, when I was smaller, I was very sensitive to noise.
What else? When you took a...
I got scared of taking a shower.
Oh, really? Because of how the water feels.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tactile.
Yes, absolutely. So kids in the spectrum have what you call sensory challenges.
Yes, or overload.
Yes, so that's also taken in therapy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, go ahead, Kuya.
Also, the others, since I'm diagnosed with autism, the others that I get scared is the poinsettia.
Yes.
Poinsettia. How come?
Yeah.
Kasi leaves are red, it turns to a monster even more.
Oh, see?
Oh, wow.
She is petrified with a poinsettia.
So Christmas.
Yes.
Difficult.
When people give us poinsettias, it will go to my mother's house or sisters. But guys, I'm not talking about yung ayaw lang niya. It's really ganito.
Triggering.
Tell Tita Steph what you say when you see the poinsettia.
These are color red. It can also bite me, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
So are there some colors that upset you?
Red.
Red.
Kasi
Yeah.
it's very scary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you paint with red
Yeah, I paint with red. The
also.
Africa.
So how do you like to express yourself? You paint, right?
Yeah, I can express myself like I like to describe my artworks and even more.
Yeah. So how about making friends? You have a nice group of friends
Yes,
now?
I make a nice group of friends. That I also have my friends in Vanguard Academy, which is Beacon, J4, John Raff, and also Martina
Yeah.
Lopez.
They tend to enumerate. So guys, you should know that.
Yeah.
They do. Go ahead.
And also, I became friends with Mika Camus and also with Kina Dwabit.
That's wonderful.
And another thing, they say full names.
Yes.
They do.
Was it difficult for you to find your real friends?
Not really. It wasn't difficult for me to find new friends.
What are the things you look for in a friend?
I can go out for a movie date and also
But she means qualities in terms of
Like personality?
Personality.
What attracts you
Yes.
to a person?
it attracts me to a person.
I'm attracted.
I'm attracted to be sociable.
So you like sociable people. What else? Like you like Tita Michelle,
Oh,
Tita
yeah.
Apples, but why do you like them?
Well,
They
like,
are?
Yeah, they are loving to me because they also like taking me out, just like I go out with Tita Coco and Tito Jose.
Yeah.
So they're loving. What else?
Passionate.
Passion. I love it.
What else?
Yeah, passionate and also in touch with me always.
Yeah. And they're kind.
They're kind to me always.
What are you passionate about?
I am passionate about giving gifts to my titas.
Yeah.
Wow. I love that.
And you love, why don't you share? Where are you going to college soon?
Oh my God, I'm going to college in UP, which means I will be taking up college, which is architecture and also arts.
that, guys, that's I'm gonna wanna
Then announce
cry.
that. I know.
Cry. I'm so proud of that. Dude. That's amazing.
Nakakahiya.
Yeah.
Wow, as a mother, you must be
Yes.
so proud. I would cry.
So I want to share with you the mothers out there. So look, so David was in a progressive school all his life. In fact, his high school was Word Lab. That's a small high school that really specializes with kids with needs. You know, some they'll send their kids to a bigger high school.
Yeah.
David had challenges with that. So we sent him to Word Lab. It was Claudia Tambunting who told me, take him to Word Lab because I think her daughter, went there and they can focus on the child. Nung nag-pandemic, David was gonna go to a progressive college, but it was online. So I said, oh, he can't. Di na
Wait na
kaya.
lang.
So what he did, we went to Vanguard Academy. They started doing a program for David on visual arts that had therapy with English, math, his needs.
Yes.
And then, so I said, David, you should already go to college.
Yes.
To be fair, La Salle also took him. So I'm very I know. I mean, La Salle Vinyl. Let me just. Can I tell you, La Salle Vinyl? They're so progressive. They have a case manager. They're an inclusive school. But the course for David there was industrial design.
Okay.
So it's a lot of machinery and a lot of other things. With UP, it's fine arts. So it's really painting. But David, share to Tita Steph how you took the test.
Well, I took the test.
Walang pakiusap po ito, ah.
Well, I took the test by answering the first question, such as drawing, and also shading, and also coloring.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? So it's a talent test. Walang upcat. I mean, I want to thank UP for that. I feel if David took the upcat, it would have been very difficult.
Yes.
But he's doing associate degree in fine arts.
Yes.
That's incredible, David.
Thanks, Tita
You
Steph.
know, so many people don't even get into UP. That's, guys, this is, Karen, you must be so proud. And you must be so
That's
proud.
right.
Yeah. How do you feel?
I feel great, which means I'm also healed from autism. And I told, for example, Pastor Marty, please tell Lord Jesus to heal me from autism and also the seizures, etc.
Wow.
Right.
What do you hope to do with your degree?
Well,
When you graduate.
When you graduate, what would you like to be?
I would like to be, just like what I said, I could be an architect.
Wow. You really want to be an architect?
Yes.
What do you love about architecture?
I like architecture means I like to draw buildings. I can build buildings.
Yeah.
Also, I can make a house for people.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Nice, David.
Yes.
Yeah, wow, that's amazing.
Yes.
And you know what's wonderful about architecture? It's art, but also science and structure, and it's such a fascinating thing. And I'm sure you'll be amazing at it. I'm excited.
Thanks.
Yeah, wow. What inspired your love for architecture?
Well, what inspired my love for architecture is I don't copy the artworks. I take pictures when we are traveling. And the technique on what I do is I use
Painting first,
Painting.
not arty. But you make paintings.
Yeah. So the paintings on what I do is I took a picture of the sun, which means I took photos when we were traveling so that I can make an inspiration of this painting, but a little copy.
Yeah. That's okay. We all have to be inspired.
Yeah.
So, wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing. I'm so proud of
So,
wow,
you know,
so special.
So, you know, this podcast, I know will help a lot of people. So, I mean, you're in the journey right now. We're
Yeah.
all in the journey. And, you know, taking care of a child with autism is a lifelong
It is.
commitment.
It
You
is.
know, we have children wherein minsan pwede mo pabayaan, you know, and they'll do fine. They'll find their way. Pero in developing a child with autism, kasi there's not just the window, but the guidance needed for them to reach their full
Yes.
potential.
And you know what the doctors explained to me is that, again, it's a spectrum. It's a scale. So now he's on the lower end of the spectrum,
Absolutely.
but once he hits puberty, then all these other changes in the body will happen, emotions that are difficult
Yeah.
to handle, to manage, new emotions that he could go back up. So it really is lifelong commitment, but also very fulfilling, because I think it's made my family and myself
Amen.
just, you know, so much closer, so much gentler and kinder and open to all kinds of people,
Yeah.
right?
I would have to say that I think I became a better person, a better human being because of David. And what's touching with David or kids in the spectrum is they see the world with such purity. Wala silang mali siya eh.
No.
They don't have an evil bone in their body. They are just outright good and kind,
They are.
right? They
are.
don't even know how to lie.
No.
So lying is such an advanced,
It
it's
is.
such an
It
advanced
is.
mental state.
Yeah.
They can't. So with David, what he's taught me, I feel, is the purity of heart. And
Yeah.
that's the influence of kids in the spectrum in our home and in our community.
Yeah. It's a pure innocence and gentleness.
And it stays with them for life.
And so much love,
Yeah.
Karen. So
Super.
much love.
Di ba ang lambing mo, David?
Yes.
O, di ba?
Yeah, I'm very lambing.
Yeah. You're so loving. What do you text your titas?
I just text Tita Michelle.
No, but what, you don't have to say the names. What do you text?
I text
What do you text them?
I just text them good morning, good afternoon. Can we have a movie date? And also,
And you also text them, I don't want you to cry.
I don't want you to cry.
Yeah.
Oh, right?
Yes.
So special. So, just to wrap this up, last couple of questions. David, what is your biggest dream?
Well, my biggest dream is I will be a businessman in the future, just like my dad.
Well,
Okay.
I have no doubt you will achieve it.
Yes.
Your idol kasi is daddy, right? You
Yes.
copy daddy.
Yeah, I copy daddy.
Yeah, I copy some daddy dresses,
Yes.
daddy things. Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Well, you can be whatever you want to be.
Yeah.
Because
don't you want to be a painter?
Oh, I can be a painter.
you can be all of it.
Yeah,
It's okay.
I can be a painter, just like I paint like Matisse and also Andre
I
Derain.
love it.
oh.
I love it. I will buy
Yes,
your
please
painting.
buy.
Sige, go.
Yes. And Karen, one last piece of advice to women that, or families, anybody who
Yes.
is going through this,
Yeah.
because, maybe it's the grandparents taking care of the children or the sibling, or,
Oo.
what would you say to them when they have these challenges? Because it's not easy, huh?
Yeah.
It's really not easy.
You know, the saying, it takes a village to raise a child is really true. When unang-una, you have to remember that when you are raising a child in the autism spectrum, you're not raising just any child. It is extra in everything. Extra patience, extra work, extra research, extra tiyaga, extra determination, medyo extra. Even the love, kailangan mo hugutin. Alam mo, ang nanay, hindi ka naman sweet all the time.
No.
Minsan,
Pagod ka,
pagod
boss.
ka. Oo. So
yeah.
medyo,
Yeah, it's hard.
you have to pull out yung extra. So that's number one. Number two, you have to act now.
Yes.
You know, when mothers come to me and they ask me, Karen, help me because nai-inspire kami kay David. What makes me sad is when I give them already the formula. When I say formula, at the very least, a lifestyle that works, they give up along the way.
And also,
Yung hindi ko na kaya, kung ano na lang gusto ko niya kainin, bibigay ko na.
no.
Yo.
It's also for me, don't shop for doctors so that you can hear what you want to hear.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people, when they don't like the answer of this one doctor, they'll go to another
Yeah.
and another and
Yeah.
another, and then they won't believe. You know what? For me, it's the opposite.
Yeah.
Do as much as you can now, and if you need to pull back,
Yeah.
you can pull back because you're doing your child a disservice if
True.
you wait too long, diba?
And you know why David is a happy, proud, confident person in the autism spectrum is because he knows he has autism.
Yeah.
When he was very young, and I would tell friends and people, my son David is in the autism spectrum. I remember yung nanay ko, Karen, wag mo na sabihin yan, nakakahiya. Wag mo na aminin yan. But you see, you have to be counterintuitive. What you admit and what you embrace, it can't get back at you. There's just no way. It is freedom all the way, and it's liberating. So with David, he knows he's in the spectrum.
Yes.
Every improvement that he has,
Yeah.
he's happy, he feels
course.
proud.
Yeah.
Because he knows that he is improving each and every time. He understands why he is different from other people.
Yes.
When you don't tell your kid you are in the
They
spectrum,
feel othered.
they feel othered. Ba't ako ganito?
Yes.
Wala
They feel
silang
othered.
explanation.
Yes. With Max, I'm so proud of him, and he's so proud of himself. He started with therapy 2 to 3 hours a day, every day.
Yeah.
Then slowly, less, 3 times a
Yes,
week,
very good.
2 times a week. And now, supportive na lang,
Oo.
integrated. And he is so proud of himself. I tell him, you did this. you did it. He's like, I graduated. We had a big celebration. And that really helps him.
Yes.
He knows. He
Yes.
knows that he is capable. So every time he hits a wall or has a challenge, because there are challenges,
Absolutely.
I tell him, you can do it.
Yeah. And
You can do it.
And not only that, like now David is 21. He went back to speech therapy. So now, why is that? So tapos na siya with speech therapy because he was going through schools. But now he has other needs because he's in his 20s.
Yeah.
So there's a whole other kind of language, right? That you need to pull out there.
And there's no shame.
Yes.
Ako nga nagte-therapy.
Oh, yeah.
We all go to therapy.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yes.
It's okay.
Exactly.
Oh, well, I'm so glad. Thank you so much. What an amazing announcement.
Yes, but
Congratulations,
yeah.
David.
So,
Wow.
David, what do you want to tell Tita Steph? We're in our podcast now. And what's your
message to everyone.
What's your message to the parents who have kids with autism?
Well, to everyone, kids, please express well so that they won't use the wrong words. And just like what I did, and I also told the kids with autism to avoid tics, just like mine. And
Yes,
also,
okay.
as you can see,
But the parents
no.
also.
As you can see, I asked their parents, please take care of them to eat the right food and also to exercise and also take medicines so that they won't have their mind hard, etc.
Oh,
Yeah,
very good.
amazing.
See, so he is trying to express himself in the way that he knows how.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it. Just own it. Own your most authentic self.
Absolutely.
And it's beautiful.
I love
Everyone
that.
is beautiful,
Yeah.
right?
So I want to say just to the parents out there,
Yeah.
no? I mean, you could be asking yourself, why me? Stop asking yourself, why me? Already move forward and know this, that God has equipped you to be able to do what needs to be done.
Yeah.
So you have to act now. The biggest problem of parents isn't the information, it's the acting.
It is.
It's the acting. So just commit to it the way you would commit to a workout, the way you would commit to a partner, the way you would commit to your work. In treating your child in the autism spectrum, it is the same level of commitment. It's tough love all the way. There's no other way.
And with that, thank you so
Thank
much,
you,
Karen.
Steph.
Thank you, David.
You're welcome.
We're so proud of you.
Thanks.
Really. Guys, this has been such a special episode. Napaiyak kami lahat. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope there will be more conversations like this about neurodivergency because it exists. And you know what? It is beautiful. It is challenging, but it is beautiful because these are people who see the world differently from the way we do, and we should celebrate it and empower them. So thank you guys for watching this. I hope you feel empowered to do whatever it is that you need to do to take action today if you have someone in your life that is perhaps expressing challenges or going through the same thing. So thank you for joining us today. This has been Karen and David.
Yes.
This is Stephanie Zubiri, your host of Soulful Feasts, bite-sized information to nourish your body, mind, and spirit.